Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Just waiting for our guest to join. She's still trying to connect with us, so please bear with us. Please give us a few minutes for her to join, and then we can start the session. In the meantime, please let us know where you are joining from. Where are you joining the session from? I am joining from Mauritius. And where are you joining us from? And also do let me know if you can see the screen. Can you see the presentation that is shared? Can you hear me loud and clear? I would appreciate if you can confirm that. You can just send a thumbs up in the comments so that I know that the presentation is visible to you and also I am audible. Sekgolame just confirmed that it is clear and visible. Okay, thank you so much, Seho, for confirming. Let me check with our guest how far she is so that we know if she's winning or not. I'm just checking her on WhatsApp to see if she's able to connect. Oh, somebody is joining from France. That's nice. Let's see. Okay, there's a confirmation. Audible and visible. Thank you for the confirmation. You're joining from your car in France. Screen and sound all good. Thank you, Adrienne. How is France? I'm pretty sure it's cold now, right? And where in France are you joining from? And then Seho is joining from Gaborone, Botswana. Thank you, Seho, for confirming. We have somebody from India. Okay. Do we have two Seho? Oh, Seho Lame from India. And then this was Seho from Gaborone. Okay, we have two Sehos. And then there's someone from Palape. I'm joining from Palape. Okay. You said you are in. Okay, I'm still learning my French from Châteauneuf-du-Pape. I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly. All right. Okay. Let me check again how far she is. So far we are 3 minutes late. Is it okay if we give it like 5 minutes so that she can set up? Let's just give her maybe 5 minutes for her to join. She was coming from work. She told me that she was coming from work and she just got home, so she needs to log in and then connect to the session. You're joining from Botswana. All right. Thank you. So tonight's session is about the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. Are you familiar with the scholarship? Have you heard about the scholarship before? Have you applied for the scholarship before? Or is it your first time hearing about the scholarship? Please let us know what you know about the scholarship. Maybe you've applied before and it didn't work out, you were rejected, or you have heard about the scholarship but you have never applied before, or this is your first time hearing about the scholarship and you are interested in learning about the application process so that you can also apply for the scholarship. Our guest, her name is Kaho. I will introduce her when she joins us on the live session. She was an awardee of the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. So she did her studies in Europe, in 4 different countries in Europe, and then she did her internship in Germany. So basically, 5 countries in total through the scholarship. It's a mobility scholarship. You are not just based in one country, but you move across different countries in Europe. So she'll share more about that and her experience with the mobility, how it was for her. No, I've never heard of it before. Okay, you are in the right platform. She will share about the scholarship. I'm pretty sure you will learn and possibly apply for the scholarship as well. Somebody heard of it before. I tried to do some research but didn't really understand how to go about applying it. Yeah, sometimes when you read the guidelines, it seems a bit complicated, especially that it involves multiple countries. So sometimes you're not sure whether you're supposed to apply to all the countries that you are going to study at, or you apply to one university, and how do you move around the countries. So I think you are right to say it's really not clear, which is why I brought Gaho to clarify, to explain to you what her application process was and how to go about it, and possibly that would bring some clarity to you. Please prepare some questions. If you do have some questions for her, prepare the questions as she moves along with her presentation. Feel free to ask any question that you have. This is your moment to get the clarity that you need, because you are getting the information directly from the horse's mouth. You are getting the information from a person who has experienced the scholarship, who has gone through the application process, who has actually gone to Europe and studied in those. Oh, she's here. Okay, she's here, guys. She just joined. Please give me a second to add her to the live session. She is here. Hi, Kaho.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? You are live, okay?
Okay. Sorry for
Yeah,
the delay.
no, it's okay. We have been waiting for you. So in the meantime, I kept our audience busy. I was asking them about the scholarship, and it seems some have never heard about the scholarship before. Others have tried to do some research on it, but they were confused. They didn't know how to apply. So I told them that they are on the right session. We are going to clarify that for them.
Okay.
Yes, this is the last comment I know about it. I've tried applying before 2 times and was not successful. Looking forward to learning the tips. Okay, yeah. Kaho is here. She will share the tips with you. So we are going to start the session now. Now that Kaho is here, what is going to happen is that I prepared a couple of questions for her. So I'll ask her a question and then she'll address the question. If you have a question of your own, please feel free to share it in the comments. I'll display it on the screen, and then maybe Gaho can pause and address your question. I tried as much as possible to ask her the questions that I thought you might have, but maybe I might miss one of the questions. So please don't be shy. Do ask your questions. Um, you notice that there is a QR code on the screen. You can scan that QR code and then join our community for masters and PhD. I'm trying to bring master's and PhD applicants together so that we can support one another in the application process. I know it's tedious, it's overwhelming, and when you don't have support, it's easy to give up. I don't want you to give up on your study abroad dream. I want you to get the support that you need so that eventually you can be like Kaho. I can invite you to my channel so that you can share your experience as a scholarship awardee. So just scan the QR code and then join our community. And then the second thing is about the presentation. Do you mind if I share the presentation, Kaho, with them?
No, it's okay.
Okay, so if you want the
Yeah.
presentation, okay, if you want the presentation, there is a link in the video description for you to request the presentation. Just request, fill in the details with your email address. I'll share the presentation with you. Now we are going to get started. I am going to ask the first question. Just one moment. So the first question for you, Kaho, is to tell us about yourself.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Miss Vokamoso, for the opportunity. My name is Kaho Lepalo. I am from Botswana, and I have a background in food science and technology, holding a bachelor's degree in food science and technology from Botswana University of Agriculture and Natural Resources. And also, I have recently graduated with a master's degree in food identity. The full name of the master's is Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's degree in food identity. It's a double master's degree. That means after you graduate, you get like 2 master's degrees. So, yeah, yeah, I believe as I'll be continuing the presentation, people will know more about me. But for now, that'll be all.
Okay. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. I just want clarification on the double masters part. How exactly does it work, the double master? So you have 2 master's degrees?
Yes, I think most if we go to the once we continue with the questions, I'll be able to cover that part during the presentation.
Okay, no problem. I guess we can move on to the second question, which is can you walk us through your Erasmus Mundus application process from start to finish? What was your experience with the application process? Would you like for me to move the presentation for you, to scroll through the presentation for you?
Yeah.
The slides, you just let me know to move it for you. So we'll talk about the application process, and she prepared a presentation for that. I'm gonna move on to the next slide.
Okay. So before I go on to the presentation, like, can you just display the question so that I see it?
Oh, you want the second question?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you display it on the screen?
Okay.
Okay, can you walk us through? Okay, my Erasmus Mundus application process. So this is how I have heard that some people have commented that they have never heard about Erasmus Mundus before. I was one of those people, like for us, because I think commonly in Botswana, I want to believe that people who are watching, some of them are not from Botswana. So sometimes I will relate the situation from back home in Botswana. So in
Yeah.
Botswana, it is most common that we receive the scholarships through the government, right? Or through the, is it DTF? I don't know how to call it, the one that
Yeah,
give us the,
it's DTF.
yeah. So it's most common that we receive the scholarships through the government. So we are not used to other independent scholarships. I was one of those people, like before I heard about Erasmus Mundus scholarship, I was looking at other scholarships, like for instance, the Mauritius African scholarship scheme, and also the Indian scholarship. It was one of the scholarships that I was eyeing on. But then in 2020, when I was finishing my BSc, there came an opportunity from, it was a sponsorship, not a scholarship. It was a sponsorship from a certain international company in Botswana. They were offering a sponsorship for students to go and study in one of the European countries, France, such that when they finish the studies, it's more like an apprenticeship, such that when they finish the studies, they come back and work for that particular international company. So my intention was to apply. I applied for that sponsorship, and I went through the process. The first, because usually they have like a 2-stage interview, where the first stage interview, you are interviewed by the international student recruiter from the university in France or anywhere in Europe, and then the second interview is from Botswana with the international company, right? So I only went through the first interview with the international student recruiter in the university in France. And she asked me one interesting question, which actually changed the whole narrative. She asked, one of the questions that she asked me was like, what was my long-term goal? What is it that I want to achieve by studying this? Because they offered a master's in engineering, something like that, but in food engineering. Yes, if I'm correct. So I told her like my long-term goal was to focus on food product research and development, either in the food industry or in academia. So obviously, if I do a master's, I would also have an interest of pursuing a PhD in the long run, right? So then she told me, okay, because this is your long-term goal, this is what you want to achieve. And also I told her that one of the things that I want to do while I progress with my career is to like maybe hopefully start a business, which is one of the things that I'm working on. So because I was honest in the interview, because sometimes when we become honest, we feel like maybe we are depriving ourselves of a certain opportunity, because when we become honest, we'll be like, okay, if I become honest, they will see that I am not fit for this particular position. So at that point, it was a breaking point, in the sense that I was honest about my career goals. So that is when the lady told me about, she said, okay, looking at what your long-term goals, that you want to pursue a PhD and also hopefully run a small business in the field of agriculture, I think there's a suitable, she said, there's a suitable master's for me. That's when she mentioned there's a master's called Food Identity, which is a combination of food science and agribusiness. So I asked her a question, okay, is that master's fully funded? Because obviously I don't have funds. So that's
Yeah.
when she told me about, yeah, it's fully funded. It's funded by the EU, European Union, under the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. So that's when she told me, go and take time to go and research about the master's program and also about the scholarship. That is when you can come back to me if you want to proceed with the interview or not. So that is where I got to learn that there's a master's, I mean, there's a scholarship called Erasmus Mundus. So that's when I started
Okay.
learning. Yeah, so that's where I got to learn about it. I researched about it and I understood that
Mhm.
it's fully funded. So from that point on, I started becoming open to other opportunities besides the ones that are offered to us through the government.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we can continue the presentation because I think your presentation mainly addressed the second question that we are still on, which is telling us about your application process, right? I'm sure
Mhm.
our audience, they would like to know how you applied for the scholarship.
Okay, so the procedure for applying for the scholarship, because already I had applied for a different master's program, I don't want to lie and say that I followed like a tedious route of like searching for scholarships, and I already had like an insight from the previous masters that I tried to apply for. But
Okay.
then because I saw that like if because when I was applying for the master's program under the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, the head of masters for for this masters, he told me that like I was the first Motswana to actually be in the master's program, and
Okay.
I was the second person from Southern Africa. The first person was from South Africa. So
Wow.
because of that, it made me realize that okay, because of this, it shows me that okay, I'm a pioneer in this field, and sometimes God doesn't place us in certain circumstances just for us to benefit. So because of that, I started researching more about Erasmus Mundus so that I can be able to encourage other people or to create awareness of the scholarship, because I also realized that okay, I didn't know about the scholarship, and I believe there are other people that don't know about it. So if I research more about it, if I just go through all these application procedures, then I can be able to understand and better teach others. So that is what I'm going to do today. I will just give you an insight of like how, like what is the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, and how can you go through like the application processes in order to search for a master's that is suitable for your qualifications.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so firstly, like the Erasmus Mundus scholarship is a scholarship which is offered by the European Union. It's offered for it's for anyone, like from whether you are from the European Union or whether you are from Africa, anyone in the world can apply for this. There
Okay.
is no there is no age limit for this if you are going to do your masters, right? It's mainly the Erasmus Mundus scholarship is mainly for master's degree.
Okay.
And also, what I can say about it, most of the master's program under Erasmus Mundus scholarship is called mobility study, such that you can study in 2 or more European countries. Like in my case, I studied in four countries doing a
Mm-hmm.
master's program. One
Okay.
would one would wonder, okay, you are doing a master's, and we know that a master's is like very demanding. How are you able to like study in different four programs? So most of these masters that are offered under the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, they are more practical and less theory. You can find that like the theoretical part of it and also the theoretical exams, maybe they contribute like 5%, and then the rest is practicals. Like you do, it's mostly practical and teamwork. You do case studies, you visit, like in my field, I was in the agricultural field, so we visit different food companies. We come, and also like if it's food product development, we work as a team to form companies, and also they they assess us based on the practical work that we do. So mostly it's practical and a little bit of theory.
Okay.
And yeah, and also to know that it's fully funded, meaning that everything is covered from your visa, health insurance, accommodation. They help you with accommodation while you are still in your country.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so everything is fully covered. There is no application fee, so
Okay.
basically you don't spend anything. But the
Okay.
thing with scholarships that we tend not to understand is that even for me, I wasn't aware, because it was my first time getting a scholarship abroad, right? When it is said that it's a fully funded scholarship, it doesn't mean that you, like the first time when you apply for your visa and when you book your flight ticket, they will fund it there and there. The thing is, you will only receive your funds when you arrive at that particular country where you will be studying
Country.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same for the mass scholarship, the Mauritius Africa scholarship. It was the
Yeah.
same for me. You need to have some funds to book your own flight ticket, and then you
Mm.
will be reimbursed when you get to your destination country.
Yeah, that's true. So even if a scholarship is written fully funded, note that there is what you call installation costs. So the installation cost is such that you buy your own ticket when you leave your home country. You
Yeah.
you pay for your visa, and then when you arrive at that particular country, you are going to go through the whole administration process of opening bank accounts, so on and so forth, and it can
Mm,
take like 1 month, 2 months. So you have to
mm,
be ensure that at least you also have something to like buy food, just a little bit of amount to survive in one or 2 months while you are going through the administration. But once you receive your stipend and also the installation cost, you find that you are going to receive more than what you have spent. So sometimes
yeah.
we get a little bit discouraged when we I realized that, oh, okay, I have to get my own ticket, I have to get my own visa, and sometimes we give up. But the thing is, situations like this, if you know people who can help you, the one of the situations is like you can easily, like you can borrow money, given that maybe you have a, like from family or friends. Like in my case, the good thing about me is that I was already working, so I had, even though the money was not enough, I was able to borrow from close people. And then immediately when I got my installation costs fee and also my stipend, I was able to pay the total everything that I owed people. So people shouldn't get discouraged when they find out that they have to find to pay for their own ticket when they leave the country. It's you're
Oh,
going to receive more than you get,
okay.
more than you get.
I have a follow-up question. I noticed that on the presentation you highlighted English proficiency. Can you clarify that one for us?
Mhm. Okay, so most of the master's programs that are offered in Europe, they are offered in English. Sometimes, like my master's program before, it was offered in partly in English and French, but then with time they changed it to be fully English. uh, After having noticed that most of the students that come, they speak English. So the thing is, when you do a master's program under Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, they will, obviously one of the things that you have to provide is an English proficiency certificate, right? Which is the, whether it's IELTS or any other test that you may take. But sometimes it's costly, especially after like like when you have to write, like in my case, we know that if you have to write IELTS in Botswana, I think you spend like 3,000 or something to be
Yeah.
able to pay for that. But what people can do is, you go back to the university where you completed your BSc. By the way, one of the things that you have to, one of the qualifications for masters is it's a BSc. Like you have to have a BSc degree, or if you haven't gotten your degree, you can provide transcripts and letter of completion. So what I was saying is, you go to the university where you studied, and you request them to provide a letter of proficiency. Like they write a letter which proves that you have taken your studies in English.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
that, yeah, and then they provide a stamp for that, they sign for that. When you have that letter from your university, you don't have to write an IELTS exam, you don't have to pay for an IELTS exam. And in my case, when I did the same thing. I only got the letter from my university, which proved that I'm proficient in English. And in the where you'll be studying for your masters, at the end of this like at the end of the master's program, one of the things that you have to provide in order for you to graduate, it's an English certificate, right? Whether it's IELTS, or like in France they also provide a test called TOEIC exam. TOEIC exam is more like IELTS, but I think it's a French standard in English. So depending on which country you are in, you can simply take that test while you are doing your masters. So what I'm trying to say is, you don't have to have you don't have to write your IELTS exam while you are doing the application process, right? Because
Okay.
sometimes you don't have fees for that, so you can always do it while you are doing your masters, and
Okay.
they pay for that. The good thing is that is part of the tuition.
Ah, okay, okay. Let me check if we have any questions. Do we have any questions so far on what she has shared? Please comment, please let us know, or even a comment just to encourage her or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a question, it could be a comment or something that you want to share. In the meantime, can I move on to the next slide while we wait for questions or comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
The catalog.
Okay. I, I move.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can move. This, like, I think one of the questions, one of the things that I can also cover that I've stated in the previous slide is, I mentioned that I did, like, my master's degree was a double master's degree, right? Which is
Mhm.
food science and agribusiness. Like I got the food science master's degree from the university in France, and also an agribusiness master's degree in the university in Italy. So like I say, that is a mobility study program. That is, you study in several countries. Sometimes you can study in only 2 countries, or you can study in several countries. In my case, I was studying, like I spent, okay, in my case, I started my master's in 2020 around September, and like we spent 4 months in France, right? Where we covered the aspects of food science, which was more, which was a combination of practical and theory. Then after completion of 4 months, 2 months, we spent 2 months in Italy covering the aspects of agricultural economics and agribusiness. This one was mainly theoretical, and even that the exams were theoretical. And then we went to Romania. In Romania, also to bear in mind while we are doing this, because my field is food science and technology, we also do field visits.
Yeah.
Like we visit different food companies, and to be able to like incorporate that in our exams, in our practicals. And that is my former professor who just who is
Ah,
coming. Yeah,
well, okay. Hello,
yeah.
Professor.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and then from there I went to Romania, which was a continuation of agribusiness and economics, where, and also European policies, right? So this one, it was a continuation of what we learned in Italy, but it was more practical in the sense that it was very interesting in the sense that when we learned about agribusiness, we were not just sitting, like we didn't have a theoretical exam except for agricultural marketing, but for agribusiness as a course, we actually were, the first challenge that we were provided, we were to come up with business ideas, right? And with that business ideas, we were to select the best business ideas, and then we form companies, more like, I don't know if in Botswana we call it Junior Achievement Botswana, JEB.
Oh,
So it's
Jeb.
more like, yeah, it's more like that. So we come with we form companies based on the best business ideas, and then the owner of that idea becomes the CEO of the company.
Of the
And
company.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and then we compete amongst ourselves. We do what you call, what is it, pitch elevator? Yeah, the pitch elevator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And yeah, the it was, because for me it was interesting to do a practical on something that is not food science, because my field is mostly science, but to do a practical on something that is mostly agricultural economics and agribusiness, I found it to be interesting. And yeah, and then we went on to Italy. In Romania we were there for 3 months, almost 3 months, and then we went to Greece. In Greece, it was there, we had a theory test, but the theory test was based on our field visits. We visited different food companies that produce yogurt. You know, the Greek yogurt is from Greece. The olives are mostly found in Greece. So we visited all these different food companies, and then from there, the exams that we had were based on the field visits that we were doing. So that is why some people would wonder, okay, how do you manage to go to 4 countries, 5 universities in a master's program? That is because it is more practical. It
Practical
requires,
than
yeah, it requires teamwork. It enhanced teamwork in the sense that we were from almost 20 or 21 nationalities, if I'm not wrong. So it's one of the most interesting masters. And I believe almost all the masters within the Erasmus Mundus are like that, because I know there's another masters called food innovation and product design, if I'm not correct, and also they do a similar thing. So that is how you manage to move from one country to another with the mobility study. So
okay.
yeah. So now
Okay.
I think we can continue to go to the catalog, the Erasmus Mundus catalog. So if one wants to, now that I've provided an insight of what Erasmus Mundus is all about, Erasmus Mundus Scholarship is not only, because I might be giving examples based on food science, agriculture, but it's very vast such that it includes different fields from social science, from politics, from arts, history, so on and so forth. So when you go to the catalog, I don't know if you can go to the, is it the last slide? Just continue browsing, because
I
maybe
should
we
keep
can, there's a link for the catalog. Um,
Yes, I did mention that for those who are interested in the presentation, I'll send them the presentation, and when you click on the catalog Erasmus Mundo, it will take you to the link.
okay,
Unfortunately, right now on this streaming platform, I am not able to click or open links.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a catalog. Like when you click a link that will be provided, it will take you straight to a catalog. So this is the page that you'll be viewing in the catalog. It's called Erasmus Mundus catalog. And then under scholarships, you will see like there are different master's programs from engineering, mining, so on and so forth. Maybe you can move to the next page. Next slide. Yeah, like here, this is, you can see Erasmus Mundus catalog, and then 200. I think 200 maybe means like there are 200 masters in this case. So here you can see that there is master's program in cybersecurity and assurance, data engineering and artificial intelligence, so renewable energy in the marine environment, so on and so forth. But one thing to pay attention at is when you click on a master's program, one of the first things that you must check is it fully funded or not? Because a master's program can be within the Erasmus Mundus catalog, but it's not under Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Why is this case? I will give an example with the master's degree that I've just completed, food identity. Normally, when this master's program, the consortium of the master's program, they come together and they apply for funds from the European Union so that they can be given funds to be able to provide scholarship for people to gain to have like a fully funded studies, right? So they are given a period. I think in my for my masters, I'm not sure if it was from 2019 to 2025. So the period of the Erasmus Mundus scholarship for the masters that I did, it has elapsed, which means right now if you are try to apply for it, it will tell you that it's no longer under the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So if you try to apply for the same masters that I did, it's unfortunate that if you want a fully funded scholarship, you cannot apply for it. So that is one of the things that you have to always confirm whenever clicking on a master's program, because not all of them are under the scholarship. The period has elapsed. I think this is mostly different from like giving an example for my country. In Botswana, usually we receive sponsorships, we don't receive scholarships. So with sponsorships, we know that, I don't know, for our case, we have never had a case where we wanted to study BSc and then we had, okay, the period like DTF is no longer giving sponsorships. We know that it's always throughout, like, I don't know, maybe it will change. But with this one, it's a scholarship and it's a fund from the European Union. So when the consortium is provided a period, when that period has elapsed, they have to request for funds. Depending on their agreements, they may be provided funds or they may not be provided funds. But then sometimes it doesn't remove the master's program under Erasmus Mundus catalog, hence why you can always find it. I will give an example of another master's program. Can you go to another page, another slide? Yes, this is for, no, the previous slide. Yeah, this is for food identity. Like I was saying, I went into, like, I just googled food identity and then it took me, normally it took me to the online application, the university portal. I studied at ESA is is a French name, École Supérieure des Agriculture, which is higher school of agriculture. So if you go to it, you will receive this note. Please note the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship program is over, so you cannot apply for it. And then there's also another master's program, the one that I mentioned before, which is a master's in food product innovation, for product design and something. It's one of the masters that I applied for as my second option, by the way. It was also under the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, but now I understand that its period has also elapsed, but I don't know when. So one of the things that people can always do, like if you find that you are interested in a certain master's program, and you can always keep checking the catalog and also check the page of the universities, because automatically when you type that master's program, it will take you to the portal of the university. So always keep up to date and check if now they have gained the scholarship. If they have gained the scholarship prize, then maybe you can be able to apply for that. So yeah, one of the things though also that I would like to mention is that I didn't get my scholarship at the like first attempt. I finished my bachelor's degree in 2020, and then in the same year I tried to apply, and I got accepted by the university, but then I didn't get the scholarship. Rather, I was placed on the reserve list, right? But then if you're in the reserve list, you know that sometimes chances of getting the scholarships are very slim. So I didn't get the master's program. I didn't get the scholarship, but then for some reason I was determined to get the scholarship, also because of like the exposure. I like the exposure. Studying in this kind of master's program, or this kind of opportunity which provides you to connect in different countries, it does not only expose you to to educational benefits. There is also networking. Like in my case, if you want to continue with PhD, you study in different countries, you also get a chance to connect and network with different people, from different professors from different universities. You connect with all these people that you met in the food industry, and with that, in the future when you need something, you are always able to contact them. Like for instance, the professor who 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 commented, he's one of the people that sometimes, if I want to question something, yeah, Andren Trukas, if I want to confirm something, they are one of the people that I always go back to, like say, okay, I need to do this and that and that and that, and they really get back to me. Same goes for my master thesis internship supervisor, because we have like I didn't mention something. I studied in four countries, right? But then when you do your internship, you can choose to do your internship anywhere in Europe, within the Schengen area, and also within the Schengen area. So I chose to do my internship in Germany, in a research institute called the German Institute of Food Technologies. That is where I did my thesis internship. And yeah, the supervisors there, I also contact them. So you can see that the scholarship is a good scholarship, in the sense that it also provides network. Not It might not work now, but in the future it will work for you. So it's one of the good things about the scholarship.
Okay.
So
I don't know if, sorry, if I should move to the next slide, because I don't
yeah,
see.
you can move to the next slide. Actually, this one, just from the previous slide, I wanted to show them an example with a fully funded master's program. No, the previous one. Yes, there is this one below. After applying now, there is European Master in Biological and Chemical Engineering for a Sustainable Bioeconomy, right? If you click on it, go to the next slide. Like, let's say you want to apply, right? You go to the catalog and then you search for a suitable masters. Let's say someone is interested in a master, and then they found this one, and then it will automatically take you to the page of the university, And then under it, you go under applications. And then under applications, one of the first things that you should always check, like I've said, is go to scholarship first. Then when you click on scholarship, go to the next slide. When you click on scholarship, you can see that Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Scholarship will be available for the 2026-2028 cohort. So for people who might be interested in this master's program,
Sorry.
for people who might be interested in this master's program, they can be able to apply until the period of 2028, and they will obtain the fully funded like scholarship. So these are the benefits of the scholarship, which I've already stated. So
Okay.
so many, like going through the application process is not complicated. You just go to the catalog, you browse through the catalog, all the masters, and then you choose those which you feel are suitable for your qualifications. You check if they have scholarships available, and once they have scholarships available, you continue with the application process.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, can you go to the next? Yeah, so one of the mostly like for all of this master's program, obviously you'll be like, it's always stated like what documents are required. You will always find in the portal, right? And then also with the CV format, they always provide a link. You have to follow the format of Europass CV. So when you get on the link, you will see what is meant by Europa CV, provided that like they have provided you with the link. So it's not something that is complicated to apply for this masters. I think one of the most challenges is that we are not always aware that there are this kind of opportunities available. But once we know that okay, there is a master's program there is a scholarship called Erasmus Mundus. Okay, you just type Erasmus Mundus. Now you know that there is a catalog that you can view all the master's program. You can always go to that catalog. And also the good thing about this is that once you start your application process with the universities, I would like to call them the admin people, those that are responsible for helping you with the application. They are very supportive in the sense that when you ask questions, they respond to you. They might not respond immediately, but surely they respond. So they are very supportive. Don't hesitate to ask questions in university portals. When you feel you are interested in a master's program and you are not sure about something, always find an email. Probably there's always an email for you to like ask questions for that, and most definitely you get helped.
Okay. All right. Uh,
Yeah, this is like still on that master's program that I showed them, that once you go to application, they will show you, okay, apply online. They will provide a link. You will click the link. They will tell you, okay, these are the things that we need: letter of motivation, copy of valid passport, so on and so forth. So it's not really a complicated process. And I know some master programs, normally they would request for you to write like a research proposal. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Or maybe it's just for PhD. But in this case, you just apply. You just follow the application procedure. You don't have to write any research proposal. You don't have to look for a supervisor if you want a master thesis research based program. You just follow the application process, and that's how simple it is.
okay. We have a couple of questions in the comments. I'll get back to the questions. I think you have covered most of the questions that I had for you.
Oh,
I except for two of them. I'll skip question 3 because you have already addressed it. I'll just go to question 4.
uh-huh.
I think you've also addressed question 5. I'll do question 4 and then question 6. Then I go to the comments to so that we can address the questions from the audience.
Okay.
So just a minute. Let me show you the fourth question that I had for you.
Okay. My biggest academic and personal challenges faced during the program and how I overcame them. Okay, so well, obviously, for like if you are going to study abroad and it's your first time, like in my case, it was my first time getting out of the country. Obviously, it will be challenging, more so that you are going from one continent to another. I was the main country which I was based at. It was France, and I would like to say that in Europe in general, you have to be willing to learn their first language, because in these countries English is not the first language. So you
Mm.
must be willing to learn, even if you are your master's program is not in it's not in that particular language, like it's in English, but still show willingness to learn the language, because it will also work for you later. In my case, like when I stayed in France, I mean, it might not be easy, but just show willingness to learn, because it also affects how you relate with people, like socially, right? When you ask for questions, when you ask for directions. So one of my personal challenges, it's obviously missing home. Sometimes we always, like in my case, you always want to find the balance between studying academics and also being with family. Like sometimes if you study, you like during holidays you want to visit family, you feel lonely, this that. So it's one of the challenges that somehow they could kind of like affect us in our academics if we don't manage them, because being homesick is not something that is not easy, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's one of the challenges that I faced. But the good thing with us is that we were my in my class for my master's program, we were so diverse, such that we understood each other and we became like family. So
Okay.
yeah, so in that way, even though it was not the same, like I wouldn't compare it with being home. I would say it's being in a diverse environment with people from different nationalities. It helped us to always like be together, to understand each other. Because I remember when we moved to Romania, I had a friend and who she's originally from France. So when she was in France, she was not struggling because she was home. And then when we moved to Romania, we both faced the same challenges, where now she's feeling homesick, I'm also feeling homesick. But then again, for me also, it was challenging in the sense that in France I was staying with a host family. The reason why I chose to stay with a host family was that I can be in a family like place where I wouldn't feel alone. So that is
Yeah.
one of the things that helped me to overcome this thing of being homesick. So when we were in Romania, we were both away from our families or our comfort zones. So it's always to make good relations with your classmates, friendships, like don't be a loner. Go there to network, go there to have fun, and also study. In as much as you study, don't forget that you also have to balance your academics with life, with social life, because it won't be easy being there. And also with food, I mean, food is challenging, of course. Sometimes
Yeah.
we miss our
Home
staple
food.
foods.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, but for me, I just told myself, like, if I don't know, maybe it's just, it depends, maybe it's like a subjective answer, because I think it probably depends on our characters. In as much as it was challenging, I'm one person who thrives in challenging conditions. Like, if you put, like, I think, yes, it's common. Like, if we are in our comfort zones, we don't perform the most. But then if we are in a challenging environment, that's when I find challenges more exciting. I remember the first time when I was traveling to France. When I arrived there, my luggage got delayed. I had to get on a metro for the first time. Remember, I don't know what a metro is. I had to change trains. Initially, my flight were all like just direct. Even arriving in France, I was just going to get on a train and directly go to where I was staying, which was in Angers. But because my luggage got delayed, I missed my train, which means now I had to go to another city change trains, this and that. And remember, I don't speak French, I still don't know French. So that was one of the main challenges that I encountered when I arrived there, like just maneuvering around the city. It was so challenging. But then I realized that getting lost the very first time when I arrived there, it prepared me for challenges that are yet to come. That is when I started telling myself, Kaho, start preparing yourself to get lost. Tell yourself, get lost, but know that you will always find your way to where you're going. That is why I had to learn to use technology, use Google Maps. I remember even during my first orientation, I was not staying, other students were staying in hostels or student accommodation, but I was the only one who chose the host family, right? So which means that the first day of school, when we went for orientation, I was going alone to school, and along the way I kept getting lost, and I had to ask for directions in French. I didn't have Wi-Fi, I didn't have SIM card, so I just had to like try to communicate it. So those challenges, they just prepared me for like more challenges that are yet to come. So what I can advise people is that, like, when you go and study abroad, and if it's your first time, know that just prepare your mind and know that you will meet challenges, and don't let those challenges to break you. Just tell yourself, you know what, I'm prepared for these challenges. They are preparing me for growth, not just in career wise, but also in life in general, when you go to work, so on and so forth, right? Because even moving, when we move from one country to another, by the way, the university, they don't plan for you, they don't get tickets for you, they don't plan for, yes, sometimes they help with accommodation, but when we moved from France to Italy, we plan while we are studying, while we are writing exams. You always have to, okay, go to class, prepare for this, write an exam, and at the same time you always have to like say, okay, I have to plan for my next trip, I have to plan for my next flight, I have to get my flight ticket in, I have to book for flights in advance. You know, all those things, they seem a bit tedious and daunting, but trust me, believe me, they are preparing you for the best which is yet to come. More so that if you are still looking forward to thrive, to study or to work in an international environment, these are the challenges that prepare you for that kind of life, that you always have to be alert, be active, be able to plan, to plan, to manage tasks. So it's one of the things that actually, they are personal challenges, but eventually I just liked them because they challenged me and they made me grow. And then academically, I would say, academically, to be honest, I think my bachelor's degree was more challenging. Funny enough, I found my master's degree to be less challenging, probably because maybe it was more practical and less theory. Because sometimes we know that if a program, whether it's a bachelor's program or it's a master's program, if it entails more theory, you read a lot more theoretical tests. But then with practical, I think practical is easy to handle compared to when it's theory. But then of course there's a lot of research. There's one of the things that that are also challenging is you have to work in teams. When you're not used to work in teams, if you are going to go study in an international environment, then it's to be very difficult for you to agree with others, because obviously we face challenges working in groups, you know, but at the end of the day we had to overcome those challenges, we learned from those challenges. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I think I've also experienced some of the challenges that you've mentioned, but I'll not go into that because today it's about Kaho sharing her experience, not me sharing my experience. I'm gonna jump to the comments from our audience in the interest of time. We have a question from Sabatana. Are you able to see the question?
You mean hello? I'm from Lesotho. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So one of the things with this, no, it's not just Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Most of the scholarships, well, I can't speak for all scholarship because I'll be lying, but let me just be specific about the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So what happens is that after completing, you, depending on which country you were based at, right, you will, like for instance in France, you are given 1 year period to stay in the country. You are given what you call a titre de séjour, a student job seekers permit, right? Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think yeah, student job seekers permit. So in France, it's only for a year, for you to be able to look for job opportunities in France. But then you also have another opportunity of, if you don't want to use it's more like how do you say, like how do you say, like, yeah, it's a lifetime one. It's only for once. Like you are, if you don't
Once
find
in a
a job.
lifetime opportunity.
Hmm?
Is it like a once in a lifetime opportunity?
Yeah. So like, it's only for 1 year, and within that 1 year, if you don't find a job, then you cannot renew the job seekers resident permit. But then you are not forced to get it there and there. Sometimes you can decide to go home and maybe
Mm-hmm.
work or something and not apply for that. I think you can also apply for it even after 2 years or within 2 years. Maybe let's say I've completed my master's this year, and then maybe I work in, like when I'm in Botswana, maybe I work for like 1 or 2 years, and then within that 2 years I decide, okay, I want to look for opportunities in France. Then I will apply for that job seekers residence permit, because it will still apply. But then it depends. In other countries, I know in Germany it's for 18 months instead of 12 months. So yes, you do get an opportunity to stay behind and look for opportunities.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I guess your question was answered, Sebatana. The next question is from Seholame.
Mhm. Okay.
She
Let me just go through. Well, when you apply for the scholarship, yes, you go through. You haven't, like, once you apply for the scholarship. Okay, let me try to remember. My mind. Yes, when you apply, my mind. What is happening to my mind? When you apply for the scholarship, you do get interviewed, right? You do, like when you do the application process, you do get interviewed by the head of the masters of the program, or I don't know, by the in selection committee, whoever they will be. So they interview you, and then after they have interviewed you, they tell you, okay, normally it's written, like when you go through the application, they tell you, okay, the deadline for application, normally maybe they say, okay, is by January this date you should have all submitted your applications online, right? Yes. And then maybe in February they will send you, if you have like passed the process, they will send you a link, right, to say, okay, this is a link that you will receive for your interview, which will be scheduled on March this date, and then you have your interview, right? And then after the interview, that is when now there's the selection process, where they will have to like select people who have passed, who have who are selected. And normally what they do, they reply by email. After interviewing you, they reply by email. They will send you an email to say, okay, you have been admitted for a master's in food identity. And at the end, that's where it matters, with the scholarship. And sometimes they say, unfortunately, without the scholarship. And then when they say without the scholarship, they will give you an option of say, but you can fund yourself, this, that, and that. So normally they give you like a chance. They give you to say, okay, if you accept this, if you got the scholarship, they say, okay, if you accept the scholarship, please reply back to this email, and then you reply, okay, yes, this and that, and then they give you a scholarship. If you didn't get the scholarship, you just got admitted, they say, okay, if you are able to fund yourself, please reply back to the email, whatnot. If you're not able to fund yourself, you just tell them, and then you proceed, because that's what happened with me with the first email I got when my first attempt. The email was so positive that I was so excited. I assumed that I got the scholarship. So when I proceeded, I was like, hey, you got accepted, you got admitted for the Erasmus, for the master's food identity at this university, which I was already celebrating. And then when I went down towards the email, unfortunately, so it's always so positive, but yeah, that's how it is. Get the
But you have to,
like,
you have to check the end.
yeah, yeah, because the email is always positive. They don't want to disappoint.
That's funny. Okay, we have the next question from ENG. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
It's ing,
Masika. Ing?
yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, with the host family, I don't know if other count, but I want to believe it's similar in Europe, like in, yeah. So what happens is, whilst you are still in your country, like for instance, if I'm doing the application process whilst I'm still in Botswana, once you've gotten your scholarship, and then you start preparing for your visa, they also support you with the visa. By the way, there was a time when I was doing my visa in South Africa. I don't know if in Botswana they still do it. I haven't really checked. I was doing it in South Africa, and then I had a question about my visa. And when I emailed them, there and there they responded me from France, because I was not sure. So that's how supportive they are. So once you are doing your visa processes, they will also help you with the accommodation process. Like there's someone who is specific for that task, right? The lady will email you for that. Like depending, like for instance in my university, she will give us a list of options to say, okay, students, I am giving you this list of options for your accommodation. We have the student accommodation, and we also have the host family option, right? So with accommodation, by the way, you pay, even if it's a student accommodation, you pay rent for yourself using your stipend. So yeah, they give you options, or and also prices for the accommodations, to say, okay, I want a student accommodation, or I want a host family. If you want a host family, you email them, say, okay, I choose a host family. And then once you have chosen a you decided that you want a host family, they continue to give you a list of host families, and also the distance from school to home, so that we can be able to say, okay, I want a host family which is not far, maybe which is like only 10 meters from school. So that's how I chose it. And also like other options, like they have pairs, they have this, they want this, all those conditions. That's how they give you the options to decide for a host family. So they, all these things, accommodation, you go to the country where you are studying knowing that you have secured accommodation.
Okay. I don't see any other question from the audience. I hope you are okay. I'm gonna display my last question to you, Gaho. If there are no questions after this one, then we'll wrap up the session. This is my last question to you. I
Okay.
skipped question 5 because it was about the internship. You have already talked about the internship. So we'll just go to the last question, which is what advice would you give to somebody who is preparing their application right now?
Okay, yeah, for someone who is preparing their Erasmus Mundus application on any field, what I can say is, actually, what I can say is, also, it's a good thing because I think this is the time when the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship is open until January, right? So
Yeah.
what I can say is the Erasmus Mundus application online it's not complicated as long as you follow the steps that are provided on the university portal and do it as soon as possible, like the earliest. Normally, like for instance, I know that some masters they release the open days are from November, if I'm not wrong, from November until January. So immediately when you see that the scholarship is open, apply immediately, because sometimes they may require you some documents. Like for instance, I know that there is a master's where they require proof of residence, right? So imagine now you are looking for proof of residence during festive season or December season, where now offices are closed. And like for instance, yeah, where offices are closed and you have to go to, like in Botswana, maybe you have to go to, is it landboard council or something, and you are not able to access that help, right? And by January, probably towards the deadline, that's when you want to like find those kind of things. So what I can say is try to do the documentation process as early as possible, because normally we are nearing towards the festive season. So yeah, so I don't think I have much in terms of advice, because with regards to the application process, I've said most of the things.
Yeah,
And
I think sorry to interrupt. I think you have said quite a lot,
yeah.
and I hope the information was useful to you who is watching and listening to Gaho. I'm gonna take one last question, Gaho, and then we can wrap up the session. There's a question from, you said it's Ing. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that will be the last question, and then we can wrap up the session.
Okay, so you say when can we apply? Uh, it depends. I can't, because there are a lot of master's programs which are offered under Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, right? So I'm not really aware of when this particular masters are they open for applications. So what I can say is go through the catalog and click on the master's program which you feel it fits your qualifications, and check if they have check the deadline for the application. Like for instance, the master's program which I did, food identity, I can't really like specify talk about it because now it's no longer funded by the Erasmus Mundus. Its period has elapsed, and also I
Mm,
understand Ing is she did food science and technology, so that is why I'm being specific. And also
yes.
there's
Yes.
another master's program which is called Food Innovation and Product Design. It is also not under the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. I don't know when they will get funds to be fully funded so that we can be able to apply for that. But what I can say is always go through the catalog, select programs which you feel you can apply for, check if the applications are open, check the deadlines for that particular masters. Even for other scholarships, not necessarily Erasmus Mundus, you should always be alert. Use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the most platforms where people advertise what do you call, they advertise the master's programs and scholarships and when can you apply,
Yeah,
so on and so
yeah,
forth.
even for
So
PhD.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to add that even for PhD, you'd find that a lot of opportunities are available on LinkedIn. If you are not active on LinkedIn, this is your sign to start being active on LinkedIn. If you don't know how to use LinkedIn, I did a live session with the LinkedIn expert. You can check the video and set up your account and start getting active on LinkedIn so that you can also connect with important people or lecturers or professors that might help in your application journey.
Mm.
Any
And
last
one
words? Carol?
Yeah, one other thing is not just like I just wanted to talk about in general when you are looking for your masters and PhD. I haven't done PhD yet, but I think now I'm already starting to understand because based on the advice that I've received, like with a masters, like if you're looking for a masters with master thesis research, right? So, because there are masters programs that do not have research, but then if you're looking for a master's that offers research, maybe you want to publish, for instance, like in your under food science and technology, you would want to pursue masters related to any of the food science field, which is whether it's food safety or anything. What you can also do is normally on LinkedIn, you would see professors. Some professors, they advertise, like when they advertise that we are offering we are offering a position for PhD, this and that and that. Sometimes you can just go connect with that particular person and prepare, or maybe Google them, because normally they are professors, and obviously when you Google them, you will find that when you Google them, they also have other details like their emails. So if when you are able to find their emails, use that email, send them an email and request if they have like research positions in the field of in the they have research positions, whether it's masters or whether it's PhD. So that's how I found it easy to reach out to professors, because that is one of the things that I'm doing while attempting to do a PhD in the near future. That there are some professors that I can be able to find their emails through by just googling their names, having obtained their names from LinkedIn. Or sometimes you can try your luck and send them messages on LinkedIn. Hopefully they respond to that. So don't just limit yourself to like scholarships that are being advertised. Sometimes approaching a potential supervisor or a potential professor on LinkedIn, maybe they have a position for a master's or a PhD which is fully funded, so you can never know. Yeah, yeah, that's all. Can you hear me? Hello? I can't hear. It's not audible.
Sorry, I was on mute. I wanted to add to what you said that on LinkedIn, there are two options: the option to follow or connect with someone. When you follow, you just become a follower of that person. Try to connect with the professors or the lecturers. When you connect, when you first send them a connection request, add a little message there. When you are connecting on LinkedIn, or when you send a connection request on LinkedIn, you also have the option to add a message, to send a message. So when you connect with a certain professor that might be in your field, add a message, introduce yourself, your field, and what you are interested in. That automatically become a DM to them. When they see the connection request, it will be attached to the message that you sent, and they're able to open it. But if you just follow, it doesn't have much impact as when you connect with the message. If you just follow, they will be notified that you follow them, and you just become like one of the followers. But if you send a connection request with a message, then you are likely going to get their attention. I hope it makes sense. If you are active on LinkedIn, you will know what I mean. If you are not, go and practice, go and try. Thank you so much, Kaho, for your time. Thank you for sparing some time to share your experience, your Erasmus Mundus experience. I hope that the information that was shared today was helpful to you. To you, meaning our audience, those who attended the session. Thank you so much also for attending the session and for staying throughout the session. Seho says it was very informative. We are happy that the session was informative. Remember, if you want the presentation, you can request it and I'll send it to you. I think right now we are going to end the session because I don't see any other comment or question. So it's best to end the session so that Kaho can also rest and you can also get back to what you were doing. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Can you exit? I don't know how to exit.